Ever wonder why some cars just seem to keep going forever? Most of us expect a vehicle to start falling apart after a decade, but the Toyota Prius has this weird reputation for being practically immortal. It's not just luck, though. When you look at most cars, the transmission is usually the first big thing to break. It's complex, it's expensive, and it eventually wears out. But the Prius handles things differently, which is where the real magic happens. To understand why it doesn't just die, we have to look at the guts of the machine. Toyota didn't just tweak a normal car, they built a system that avoids the most common points of failure entirely. This approach makes the car feel less like a traditional machine and more like a tool that's designed to last. But to get that reliability, they had to rethink how power actually reaches the wheels. That's where the planetary gear system comes in. Instead of a gearbox that shifts through gears like a normal car, the Prius uses a set of gears that are always engaged. It's a much simpler setup. In a normal car, shifting gears creates friction and stress on the parts. Over time, those parts wear down or just snap. Because the planetary system doesn't shift in the same way, those problems basically disappear. Think of it as a continuous flow rather than a series of jumps. This means there are fewer moving parts that can actually break, which is why you rarely hear about Prius transmission failures. It's a clever bit of engineering that prioritizes longevity over raw speed. While it might not feel like a race car, it's designed to keep running long after other cars have hit the scrapyard. But a simple gearbox is only half the battle. You still need an engine that can play nice with this system without burning itself out or wasting too much fuel in the process. Now, let's talk about the Atkinson cycle engine. On its own, this engine isn't exactly a powerhouse, and it actually lacks a bit of torque when you're starting from a stop. That lack of torque is usually a deal breaker for a normal car because it would feel sluggish. But in the Prius, the engine isn't working alone, and that's the secret to its efficiency. The electric motor steps in to handle the heavy lifting at low speeds. It provides that instant punch that the gas engine lacks, making the whole experience feel smooth and responsive. Because the electric motor and the gas engine are merged through that planetary gear, the system can balance them perfectly. The engine always runs at its most efficient pace. It's like having two different tools that cover each other's weaknesses. The electric side handles the stop and go, while the gas engine takes over once you're cruising at a steady speed. And it's not just about the power delivery. The way the engine handles fuel injection is actually pretty smart. At low pressure, the system helps keep the engine clean as it runs. This self-cleaning effect prevents the kind of gunk and carbon buildup that usually kills engines over time. It's a small detail, but it's a huge part of why these cars last so long. When you combine a gearbox that doesn't break and an engine that cleans itself, you get a car that's incredibly hard to kill. It's just built to survive the daily grind. Which leads to a really interesting business move by Toyota. Because they know their cars are this reliable, they can offer warranties that would make other companies absolutely terrified. They'll give you long-term guarantees, but there's a catch. You have to do your maintenance through their official dealer network. At first, that might seem like a restriction, but it's actually a win-win. For the owner, it's great because you get peace of mind. You know that as long as you're getting your oil changed at the dealership, Toyota has your back if something goes wrong. From Toyota's perspective, this is a genius way to ensure a steady stream of return revenue. They get you back in the shop for basic service, which keeps the business side healthy. But they aren't worried about the warranty costs. They know the cars are immortal, so they rarely have to pay for any major, expensive repairs. They're betting on their own quality. It's a cycle of trust. You're happy to pay for the maintenance to keep the warranty, and they're happy to provide the warranty because they know the car isn't going to break. Now, some people worry about the hybrid battery. It's the one part that everyone assumes will eventually fail, and honestly, it can happen after a decade or more of heavy use. But even then, it's not the disaster people make it out to be. Often, these batteries are covered under a separate, very long warranty, so the replacement might not even cost you anything. And if you do have to pay for it out of pocket, it's usually around $2,000 max. When you consider the life of the car, that's actually a pretty small price. Think about it this way. Instead of buying a whole new car every 7 years, you just swap a battery once every 12. The math just makes sense for the average driver. This is why people love Toyota. It's not about fancy screens or flashy designs. It's about the confidence that your car will actually start every single morning. They've mastered the art of making something that just works. By focusing on simple, smart systems rather than overly complex ones, they've built a legacy of reliability. In the end, the Prius isn't just a fuel saver. It's a lesson in how good engineering can create a product that almost defies the normal laws of wear and tear. So whether you care about the planet or just your wallet, the tech inside these cars is genuinely impressive. It's a rare example of a product that actually lives up to the hype. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new about how these cars work, please make sure to subscribe and leave a like. We'll have more deep dives soon. See you next time.